Good morning or good afternoon, Tigers. Today we'll be watching a video on Quizzette 712. As always, please make sure that you write your last name, comma, first name. Please write today's date, which is October 23rd. For those of you who don't know, which none of you know, it's my mom's birthday today. Happy birthday to my mom. Please circle the class color. I'm going to say today I'm blue. This Quizzette is a review, so if you guys can do this ahead of me, go ahead and challenge yourself and see if you can beat me at Monday number 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, which of the following is the better buy? 2 dozen eggs for $7 or 4 dozen eggs for $16? So what you do is you multiply the amount of dozens you have by 12 because dozen means 12. So I would write what's 2 times 12? That's 24 eggs for $7. And then here we have 4 dozen eggs. And that's 4 times 12, and that's 48 eggs. So 48 eggs. So what you would do is you would write your ratio. So it's 7 to 24 and $16 for 48 eggs. Now you would divide that. I will allow you guys to use a calculator for this. So 7 divided by 24 is 29 cents each per egg. 29 cents each for the first option. Now the second option, I'm going to change the color of the pen. So I have 16 divided by 48, and that is 33 cents per egg. 33 cents per egg. Per egg. So which is the better buy? A or B? A. Okay, so you would circle A, and you could say that the S&P that you're using is S&P 6, S&P 7, and S&P 2. But the one I'm going to say here is S&P 6. So you would write the number, and then you would also write always be precise. There you go. Number 2, it says, write an equation that represents the constant of proportionality for the table below, y equals rx. I reviewed this right before your benchmark last week, and people still got it wrong on the benchmark. This is the number 1 question people got wrong on the benchmark. So when you write your ratios, you write them y to x. So if I write them y to x, my first ratio is 4 over 1. And if I divide 1 into 4, that's just 4. Now my second ratio is 8 over 2. If I divide 2 into 8, it's equal to 4. So far I have 4, 4. Let's look at the last one. 16 over 4. 4 goes into 16 how many times? 4 times. If all of your ratios are equivalent, that means that the table is proportional. It's proportional. So what you do is you plug in your constant of proportionality for R. R represents your constant of proportionality. So you would write y equals 4 x. A lot of people forgot to write that x. You have to keep the x there. So your equation would be your constant of proportionality where r is. So that's what you're going to do the rest of the week. Y equals 4x, and then you're going to do the same thing here for number 2 on Tuesday, but you're going to find your constant of proportionality according to your table. Number 3. Oh, the S&P you would use for this one, I would say number 2, and number 7. Number 2 and number 7. So you would write, let's just say 7, and write look at structure. Hopefully you guys write better than I do on this thing. Number 3. It says, Nolan used 21 centimeters of tape to wrap 7 presents. Well, let's start annotating. 21 centimeters of tape to wrap 7 presents. How much tape will Nolan need in all if he has to wrap 14 presents? Assume the relationship is directly proportional. So if something is directly proportional, you could set it equal to each other. So what's your first ratio? Your first ratio is given to you in your first sentence. 21 centimeters to 7 presents. So let me write that as a ratio. 21 centimeters to 7 presents. Now, your second ratio, it has a missing piece, so you're going to need to use a variable. Let's look at it. It gives you 14 presents, but what we don't know is the amount that he is going to need of the tape. So our centimeters are on top, so our variable has to be on the top. So I'll write X, and then 14 represents presents, and some of you guys might be confused. So look, I have 21 centimeters to 7 presents. So the top number represents centimeters, the bottom number represents presents. Our second ratio doesn't give us the amount of centimeters. That's what we're trying to find. But they give us the amount of presents. So since presents is on the bottom of the first ratio, I have to keep it on the bottom of the second ratio. So I'll write 14 down there. Now I can cross multiply and solve for x. So I have 7x on one side. 21 times 14. Oh my goodness, that's a big number. I'm going to use my calculator for that. 21 times 14 is 294. Then I want to get x by itself, so I have to divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so I'm just left with x. 294 divided by 7, I just put that in the calculator, and that's 42. And that's 42 centimeters. So you would write a sentence, Nolan needs 42 centimeters of tape for 14 presents. Please write nicer than me. Okay, and here we would say it's SMP2, and you can write the quote, think quantitatively abstract. All right, Tigers, have a great week.